My name is Viola and this is my very handsome 14-year-old son, Victor Ngwadike. I'm from Given Ear Foundation, and so I'm the mother to this handsome boy who was actually born 14 years ago with microtia and atresia. Basically what microtia is when the pinna is not there or deformed or a little bit smaller. Sometimes, you know, there's nothing basically there. And then we also have atresia where the ear canal is not there, but the inner ear is, everything that has to do with the inner ear is intact. Just that the channel, which is the canal, is not there. So that's atresia. So he was born with that condition about 14 years ago. Well, when he was born, he was my first child. So, you know, you did all the things that the doctors tell you to do. You attend all the appointments and everything and do all the scans. But with microtia, normally they don't pick it up. Even now with technology advanced, most of the time it's normally a shock for parents because you see the condition just when the baby is born. So to tell my story of what happened when my son was born, when the gynecologist, you know, brought him out, I was there with my husband, and all he said was, "Oops, you know, I think he's going to need plastic surgery." So, I mean, my husband and I were both excited. Obviously, it was our first child, his first child, and right there, we were faced with that situation, and we didn't know what it was. And he just gave us that oops information, and they took him away, and they said, okay, let's go and test his hearing. That's all they told us. So I got a bit frustrated, not really a bit, a lot frustrated, because they were just doing tests and I didn't know. Nobody even told me the name of the condition or what it was. I didn't even know that it's called microtia until I got home a few days later and started Googling it. And when I Googled, then I found out, okay, so this is what it is. And through the internet, I started getting more information. And then I started making appointments to see some local ENT surgeons, because once you see your child like that, you just want to get it fixed, you know? Unfortunately, then you find out that they can only do it when they're older. Those days, it used to be from 6 to 7 years, but with technology now from 3 years, they're actually able to start the reconstructive surgery. So with all the visits to some of the surgeons, I actually discovered that most of them really don't know what they're talking about. Even when they do it, it's not proper. So that's my journey with that type of frustration. Nobody to talk to. You feel guilty. You feel like I must have eaten something, must have done something. Maybe I slept in the wrong position and during the development. Yet now, eventually, then I found out that there's actually no proof that any parent did anything wrong when they're pregnant to get a child with microtia. So this is Given Ear Foundation. It was birthed when he was born. Personally, I'm a Christian and I'm a believer, and I was told I was not going to have any children, and so his birth was already a miracle and a testimony. So when I went back to God and I was like, what is the purpose of why is my son born like that? Because, you know, at first it was quite frustrating, and I knew that all things work together for good. So I've learned that out of any situation, there must be something good that needs to come out of it. So through that, I learned that there has to be a purpose. And then I looked at him and I said, I need somebody to give me an ear. I need somebody to give me an ear in terms of listen to my story. I need somebody to give me an ear and give my son an ear because he didn't have an ear. So that's how Given Ear Foundation started. And with the family and friends, I said, I need to connect with other parents, there has to be something. There has to be people out there that also have the same condition. And that's where the foundation started. And now we have support groups. We have a WhatsApp support group. We have Facebook support groups. We have parents, and people are able to, when they give birth to a child, there's already parents that they can just immediately join the WhatsApp group and say, this is what's going on, and we all share information. And we started getting all the connections with surgeons locally and internationally that are able to make a difference and help us. So that's how the foundation actually started. And now it is making a huge impact in the country and also hopefully in the continent. That is what we are about. That is what the foundation is about. Yes, so in 2012 already, I think my son was already around 4 or 5. I started writing letters asking for donations, because it's not a very cheap procedure. And I've already learned through the foundation that there are organizations locally that also do the procedures, but most of the results are not good. That is why we meet as parents now. We try and tell each other, if you did not see the before and after pictures, don't go there. I actually learned the hard way, because I got the organization in the US that was a non-profit, and they offered free surgery, and I jumped at it. I didn't even ask questions, because you just want to get your son to have a normal ear. I mean, he went through a lot at school, especially at school, because children were a bit mean, right? Mm. Quite, I mean, he would come home and tell you things like, they would say that we can't play with you because what will happen to their ears? Their ears will also shrink like his ear did. Yeah, so he had quite a bit of a difficult years beginning at school, but he's fine now. Now he's got good friends, and he's quite happy. But at the beginning, so I ran with him to do the surgery, but I didn't do the research, and then the ear didn't come out as what we had expected. So to see my son going through that, because he's expecting that I'm going to a new ear, it is the end of the taunting, it is the end of the staring, because I think the main thing that you don't like is the staring. Yeah. And I always tell him that people stare because they've not seen the condition. So he has to answer that question all the time. What happened to your ear? What happened to your ear? And I tell him, just tell them you were born like that. So the procedure that we did not come out as well as we expected. And then that's when I learned that actually you need to do more research as a parent and find out what are the results from the doctors, because there's a lot of children out there who get these surgeries done from surgeons that are not qualified. I always say not any surgeon can work on your heart, because it's that precious, and not any surgeon can work on your children's ears, because it is also that precious. So some of them do practice, unfortunately, and it makes it worse. So that's what we are advocating for right now, to say, doctors, surgeons, if you've not done it before, if you don't have the skills, please leave our children's ears alone. Let those people who specialize in it. It's better for the child to grow without one ear than to have something that is supposed to look like an ear. And the most painful part is they actually expect you to be happy about it, that at least we have done something. But it's not at least to them, because they have to live with it every day. They have to go around every day. And the hope that they had that they will start looking like other kids has already been dashed. So that's the mistake that we personally made, and a lot of parents are making, but we're hoping that will be corrected soon. So what's happening tomorrow? Yeah.
We are going to America.
And do you want to elaborate on what's going to be happening?
I'm going to go get a new ear.
We're going to America tomorrow. We have partnered with Miracles, headed by Dr. Sheryl Lewin, who is amazing. She specializes in ear reconstruction surgery, and she has offered my son Victor free surgery to reconstruct the ear because she also is quite passionate about it. Actually, she registered a nonprofit called Miracles that helps children that have had failed surgeries to correct it. And she makes amazing ears, and my son is looking so forward to it that he's finally going to have the ear that he was dreaming about all these years. And we're quite thankful to her, and she's actually offered that every year she'll be taking one child from the foundation to be able to give them that amazing gift, and we're so thankful for that gift. So that's what's going to be happening. He's due, the surgery is meant to happen on the 9th of September, but we have to go tomorrow because he has to do a 3D scan of this ear so that they can be able to replicate it to look, as they implant the other one, to look as close to this one as possible. So that's why we're going tomorrow. So we'll be there for about 2 months plus, around.
The main part is that I'm a bit scared that it doesn't go well.
Okay.
This part is because, I want one. But for now, it's just that I'm a little bit scared it doesn't go properly.
Okay.
Because of the one that we did before.
So you mentioned the other kids with Microtia, like, that you see sometimes.
Oh yeah, that if when my mother makes me the owner of Give an Ear Foundation, I also have an ear like that, so that it shows that I actually care.
What the challenge we experience with Microtia is because it's so not as common, so it's very difficult to get funds. So we're really reaching out also to those out there to say, you know what, please do visit our foundation. It's www.giveanearfoundation.org, and just go on the donate page and just become a partner, because we have to be sending a child every year. It's quite expensive, because even though the doctor pays for the surgery, but we still have to fly the children. We still have to accommodate the families for those 2 months or however long the procedure might take. So we need the funds, as you know. And we also, besides the surgery part, we also work with some of the hearing aid manufacturers like Oticon, like Cochlear, like Med-El. We try and get the hearing devices, because we also help with hearing aids. I mean, the oldest child we helped with the hearing aid, she was 12 years old, and she had never been aided. So she couldn't speak properly because she had never had a hearing device. So we try as much as possible, especially when it comes to bilateral. Bilateral means both sides are completely sealed, and so sometimes the children don't have access to the hearing devices. So we try to get them to hear as soon as possible so that they will reach their milestones. So we do need all the support we can get as a foundation. So would really appreciate partners. You can go to giveanearfoundation.org for that information.